Okay, one issue I consistently face is that pupils tend to forget vocabulary rather quickly. So the design of the latest CFR aligned textbook, like this one right here, it allows us as teachers to teach the input skills, namely reading and listening first for each unit, followed by the output skills, which are speaking and writing. So students generally do fairly well during the reading and listening phases, and they can easily familiarize themselves with unfamiliar words to enrich their vocabulary. However, by the end of the week, when it's time to use those new words they acquired through the earlier lessons, by the end of the week, they've already forgotten those words and they are unable to use them uh, in the output skills lessons, namely writing and also speaking. So I've decided to show you guys how we can go about overcoming this issue by actually playing a very simple vocabulary game based on the game categories. So let's watch. This lesson supports two key reading standards. One focused on helping pupils check the meaning of unfamiliar vocabulary, and another that builds their awareness of how words work within different texts. The objective aligns closely. Pupils practice scanning for specific vocabulary and applying those words meaningfully in context. As a lead-in to the activity, I begin by introducing the game and explaining the rules. This ensures that students are clear on the objectives and the expectations before they actually start the activity.
Alright guys, so for this category game, you'll be shown a few categories. Okay, so one category that you might get is, for example, a state in Malaysia that starts with the letter S. Okay, guys, how many states in Malaysia starts with the letter S? Can you give me a few? Okay, Selangor, yes. Samor? Sabah, yes. Anyone? Sarawak, okay. And? Are there any more? Okay, so let's say, example, two teams come up with Sarawak. And then another one come up with Sabah as well. Okay? And then another team randomly comes up with the term Kedah. Okay? So now we are looking for the most unique answer, not just the most correct answer, the most unique answer. Okay? So let's cancel out the wrong answers. Which answers are wrong? Yes, Kedah is wrong. Okay. So everything else is correct, right? But we want to cancel out to find the most accurate answer, the most unique answer. So which one else? What answer should be cancelled out? Sabah, because Sabah comes up twice. What else do we cancel? Sarawak as well. Okay. So there's only one answer that is acceptable, which is Selangor. Okay. So that's the similar thing that you have to do. You have to come up with the most unique answer, not just the correct answer, but the most unique answer. Okay, class, are you ready? Okay, please start. Now I'll show you the categories, and then you must start to think of your ideas. Okay?
At this point in the lesson, I displayed the categories for the first round on the board. I selected categories that can be found in all these different texts from the textbook, since the whole point of this game is for students to revise and remember the vocabulary from the textbook. If there is time, we can have a second round that is more broad to allow for more creative word choices, but for now we'll just stick to words from the textbook.
Okay guys, I'm going to show you the categories now. Okay, so okay, just let me unfreeze this. Okay, here are the categories. You can actually find all the answers in your textbooks. Okay, so you can refer to the textbooks and get the most one unique answer. Okay, so 20 minutes, your time starts now. Okay, you may, for this first round, you may refer to your textbooks. Okay.
Time pupils work based on the overall level of the class. Once the time is up, have each group exchange their answer sheet with a nearby team. This helps prevent any possible cheating. Next, ask one representative from each group to write down the answers from the sheet they're holding onto the board. This step will make the answer checking process much more efficient later on.
Okay. Okay. So everything here is fine. How about C? Is there anything wrong? Oh, roast chicken. Roast chicken. Okay. So we have to cancel off this. Electric eels. Correct. Yeah. It is correct, but you have to cancel them off as well. Hiccup. Oh. Okay. So let's look at D. Anything we have to cancel off? Yes. B and C number one. Oh yeah.
Now that pupils have recalled and reviewed the vocabulary from this categories game, it's time to reinforce their understanding by using those words in context. In this gap fill activity, pupils are given a short passage. Each blank corresponds to one of the vocabulary items generated earlier, with one word taken from each category. This activity helps consolidate vocabulary retention by placing the words in meaningful context and encourages pupils to think critically about word choice and sentence structure. Pupils continue to work in teams, which promotes peer discussion and negotiation of meaning. I'll also monitor their use of vocabulary and offer support wherever needed. By the end of the task, pupils will have moved from simple recall to purposeful language use, thus achieving the lesson's goal of vocabulary retention through contextual practice. While a gap fill activity is one way to reinforce the vocabulary generated from this categories game, it's not the only option. These follow-up activities offer meaningful alternatives across all 4 language skills. The vocabulary pupils come up with during the game isn't just useful for output skills like speaking and writing, it can also support input skills like reading and listening. So by choosing an activity that fits your lesson focus or class level, you can extend the learning in a way that keeps vocabulary active, relevant, and engaging. To end the lesson, I had pupils reflect on the vocabulary they used by sharing their favorite word with a partner and how they applied it during the activity. This simple wrap-up helped reinforce their learning and gave them a sense of achievement. It also set the stage for future lessons where they'll build on this vocabulary in more complex speaking and writing tasks.